Like, I think if you would have said, hey, the Wings are in a playoff race, people would be excited. But it's the way the race has been run. It's not like you've got the Wings sprinting and the Penguins are sprinting and everybody's giving it their best and everybody's winning left and right. It's a lot of losing. It's not really a sprint. They're falling down a cliff. And like technically you're moving forward, but it's kind of clumsy. This whole thing has been clumsy for the Red Wings. And even the game last night was clumsy, right? They get down early. They tie it up. They get down again. They tie it up. Lucas Raymond, unbelievable. He has a hat trick. He won't let them lose. They get to overtime. They still don't win. I mean, they gave up a shorthanded goal in the game, and I thought that was it. But you can't bury them because they come back and they suck you back in. They draw you back in. You can't turn the TV off because here we go. It's overtime. You never know. That's been this season. And emotional check-in for Red Wing fans, 248-539-9797.
Yeah, it's been very painful since the end of February. March was horrific. And now we thought, well, maybe April will be a little bit better because they are right there and it's put up or shut up. And they've basically shut up because other than last night, Lucas Raymond and his hat trick, and Mo Seider, and we celebrated his 10 saves the other day. He's been playing well. Like those two young guys, the benefit is that they're getting this playoff, competition experience, whatever you want to label it as, now as young players. And I think it will benefit them. But in the grand scheme of things, okay, that's for future years to look back on and say, here's how we've got to continue to do things. Right in the here and now, we want a team that can go out there and get a win and get into the playoffs.
There is this belief like, hey, you're in a chase. This is progress. You're further along. I have a hard time feeling good about falling short of the playoffs. For a team that began the year adding Alex DeBrincat, give up a first-round pick for a guy who can score 40 goals. That was a clear investment to start winning a little more. Patrick Kane, not a young dude. That's hey, we're trying to win a little more. The opening night roster featured 2 Yzerman draft picks. It wasn't exactly a developmental year. It was, we've got adults in the room. They build up the cushion. I know we've talked about it a lot. Everybody knows they're up 9 points. But that's part of the story. When you got a bunch of vets and you got a 9-point cushion and you choked at the end of last year and you're choking at the end of this year, I can't go, well, it's progress. I have a hard time with that. I know Lucas Raymond is ascending before our eyes. I know that Mo Seider has been handed a really tough role and has had to lunch pail it every single night, and I think is better for it. I just have a hard time looking at this and being like, hey, it's progress because they're in a race. It's the how. It's how the race has been run that I really struggle with. I know this is progress. I know they have more points this year than last year. I know Yzerman's got a pipeline of picks that are on their way. I do think better days are ahead and all that stuff. But how this has gone down, where there was a real effort to make the playoffs, only to have them go, 5-15 the last 20 games? They could pick up a couple overtime points. But wins and losses, right? We talk about how you need 2s, not 1s. 5-15 the last 20 games. Last year, 7-18 at the end of the season. Like, I'm sorry, I can't feel good about it. But I know John, they're not out of it, so I got to watch Saturday night. I have to, because if they win and Pittsburgh loses, they're right back in. Well, they're in. They're holding a spot. And then they get Montreal the last 2 games. Like, this is the game they're playing where they won't let you check out. They won't let you bow out. They're in it just enough to tease you.
Well, and there can be a lot of fun in this. Like, that's the one thing. When coming into the season, I thought this should be a playoff team. And there is progress because they're in a playoff race. And if you're looking at it is in the form of entertainment has been extended past the trade deadline. Now, it hasn't been great entertainment, but it's been entertaining. And I think once you mentioned that, like, yeah, you want to be excited because you know it's progress, not the progress that you were expecting.
Yeah.
It's like the whole, oven mitt and the wet towel. When Derek Lalonde comes out and makes the comments that he made about, we don't know if we'll be here next year, that was a total wet blanket on any progress or any positivity that you were looking at going, okay, well, maybe they can build on this for next year. If they miss out, maybe we could build on this for next year. Doesn't do anything good for I said this already, for the here and now.
Yeah, I don't want to take the coach out of context. We have the audio. We can play it for people. I don't think it does him any favors. I think there's been a lot of, shucks, we shouldn't even be here. We might not be. I would love some confidence publicly from the head coach of a team that's very much in the race and controlled their own destiny as of 2 games ago. But let's. You want something before we play Lalonde? Tom, you had a
I was
thought?
just going to say, in general, listening to you guys in the raw emotion and the back and forth, this has been a monumental collapse. I mean, this team, who would have thought when they were at 72 that they couldn't get the 90?
I know.
That was less than a point a game. I mean, and so I think you got a coach here that's maybe saying things that he even doesn't want to say, or is trying to control and not make it as bad as it is and stuff. I mean, you're absolutely beside yourself to this. That all you had to do, they couldn't win just one of these two, and the story's so much different.
This is the Lalonde comment that John referenced, that we've referenced, that the people have seen. This is Derek Lalonde, Red Wing head coach. Okay, real quick. Why wouldn't they be in this spot next year? Like, okay, I'll play dumb. I'll play naive idiot. Why wouldn't they be in this spot next year? They're a young team, allegedly, right? This pipeline of prospects, and Yzerman's a great GM, and they've got an offseason to add to it. They've been better every year under his watch. Why the hell wouldn't they be in this spot next year?
Well, trying to figure out these comments, which
I mean, is he implying they're going to be so good that they won't be? I don't think that's what he meant at all.
If he's meaning if we're at 85 points next year, like we are now, and a team like New Jersey's at 100, and all the other ones are performing better than they did this year, then they won't even be in there won't be a shot at a wild card spot.
Yeah, but the idea is, well, New Jersey's going to be a lot better. So should you.
I agree. That's why
it's a set of cojones. We are going to be better. We don't want to be in this spot next year because we're going to handle our business against the Arizonas of the world and the San Jose's of the world, and we're not going to wallow. We're not going to have another collapse at the end of the season. We're going to be a good hockey team. Has Derek Lalonde ever said we're going to be a good hockey team? How about next year, Derek? Are you guys going to be a good hockey team next year? I mean, come on.
That's why it was such a wet blanket, because even if you miss out on the playoffs, this year was better than last year, which was better than the year before. And now we're expecting the trajectory to continue, that next year is going to be better. No, you're not going to be in the same position next year because you're going to have performed better throughout the course of 82 games.